This is the Euro Dragster podcast from eurodragster.com, covering UK and European drag racing since 1997. Hosted by Graham and Chris. This bi-monthly show brings you the latest news, stories and updates from across the drag racing scene, with the occasional guest. This podcast is sponsored by Design by Binny. Now, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the milestone, the first milestone Eurodragster.com podcast, episode number 10. Double digits, Chris. Yay!
Yes, double digits, family.
I'm Graham, quicker than we thought. We didn't think we would go this far this soon, but I'm Graham, and joining me is Chris from way up north.
Chris from the quite far away from Graham.
So. This is episode 10. We are bringing you some all the updates from the website. We have just come back from the Nostalgia Nationals, the first nostalgia meeting of the year. Some great shows, some great racing, a couple of bits and pieces from that. We got some news from the international, international European race circuit with some names coming over. We got some coming soons. We got some birthdays. We got all the things that we are generally giving you on the eurodragster.com podcast. And also on this one for episode 10, we have some great guests. And this will be a milestone. Yeah. This will be our milestone ticked off as well, because one of the things we always said we wanted to do with this podcast was to feature all the race classes, and this time we've managed to cover 3 all in one foul swoop. which and when you get to hear this interview, we recorded it a day before we recorded this bit, and that'll sound a bit weird, but people's schedules aren't the same as ours. So 6 people on the podcast this time, so our numbers keep going up. It was a great chat. They were a bit unsure because they've never done anything like this before, but great guests, great chat, lots of fun, lots of news, lots of bits and pieces, lots of history. So those will be coming up very soon. If we start humming around our website and looking at what we've got going on, we'll start actually with a bit of sad news that we found out the day before that Kyle Loftus, the founder of 1320 Video, had passed away. He's on
the 5th of May, he passed away on the night time. Yeah,
which is great sad. And I'm sure Chris, haven't actually met the guy, but I've
seen him around the track.
Chris has seen him. He's never been there when I was there, but always watched his videos online. Great physical presence within the drag racing circuit. A lot of people started drag racing because of Kyle. And his passion for motorsport inspired millions of people around the world, and we'll never forget what he has done to grow our beloved sport. Was a post that came out on Facebook last night. All of us at Eurodragster.com send our deepest condolences at this sad time to Kyle's family and friends. It's a great loss to the drag racing community all over the globe. So all the best to his friends and family.
Yeah. Very sad news indeed.
Very sad news indeed. Very sad news indeed. Let's go back to an article provided to us by our great friend Remco from the continent.
It's from Drag Racing Europe. The FIA website.
Yep. Remco is a great friend of the website. He often sends us articles for us to share. It's really great that he does. We have long, good discussions with Remco when he comes over. I'm sure he will be here at main event, and we'll catch up with him then. This one that he sent us on the website is all about Michel Turenne. Unfortunately missing from Festival of Power due to some mechanical maintenance issues. The car was actually stripped for the winter. Some parts were sent back to America to be serviced and maintained, but never actually got back in time for them to put them back on the car. ready to come to Festival of Power. But the Pro Dutch Racing Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, or I should say ZL1, is now ready to come back. He is looking to come back within the next week to Centre Pod for Door Slammers. I would assume that the vehicle will then stay in the UK for the first round of the FIME European Championships with the main event at Centre Pod, of which he is competing in the Pro Mod class. This year he has the same car but a newer engine, and everything else has been refreshed, ready to compete. He's also looking to compete after the main event in the Fuel Tech Motorsport UK British Drag Racing Championship. So a lot of things planned for him this season. Will be good to see him. I think he's at Door Slammers as well. Yeah, he's coming over for Door Slammers of his first British main event. Whether he actually comes into the Carl Cox Motorsport event as well, that remains to be seen. I haven't seen a definitive entrance class for that yet. I've heard a lot of information about people that are taking part. I know that JC is taking part with the Kaiju Porsche. I believe Andy Robinson is taking part with Anger Management. I've seen a few people mentioning their entrance, but I haven't seen a definitive entrance list yet. I'm sure we will see that in time. Last year, Michel Turenne came fourth in the championship, so I would hope he's looking to improve on that this year. And managed to reset his personal best 3 times over last year, which now sits at 5.8 seconds. So it'll be good to see him at Door Slammers. The difference with Door Slammers and with the Pro Mod classes is they get to turn everything off. So it's a little bit stranger that we don't recognise the FIA records within Door Slammers, because there are some of the restrictions that the FIA don't run in Door Slammers, so they 9 times out of 10 they will be quicker. Moving on.
If you want to see the full entry for the Door Slammers, it's, if you go on our events, there'll be a link at the top for entry list, and that'll take you straight to the Centerpod website for the entries.
And I believe, I've looked at the numbers, I've scanned across the numbers. Some of the classes that are represented at Door Slammers are a phenomenal level. I know that today on social media, Luke Stevenson was calling out for a few more to compete in, I think, 4-cylinder to get it to generate into a 64-car ladder. I believe you have to have 50 cars for that to work. I think they're currently sitting at 49. So he was trying to find someone else. There were a few names thrown around, but whether that comes to fruition, I do not know. But that will be a very busy event. And I always enjoy Door Slammers.
I'm good because I'm normally at Door Slammers, walking about doing videos and chatting. But this year I will be missing the event. So.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure there'll be a live stream somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So let's move on to the next thing on our thing. Jeff Stillwell, great supporter of the website over the years. Lovely to see him still going. He's
a previous sponsor as well with the event in America. I can't remember what it's called now.
He does a lot of land speed racing, does Jeff Stillwell. And this time on the 16th and 17th, funnily enough, the same weekend as Door Slammers, he will be racing in El Mirage for his Fuel Roadster. The land speed team, the 7707 land speed team, are just finishing off their winter's work at their base in Pomona. They are coming out at El Mirage and they are looking to compete once again. So he's competing on the same event, same weekend as the Door Slammers, and I believe that will be live streamed on YouTube as well. So multiple pages will be open at some places, I'm sure. But it'd be great to see him do well, because I know that thing absolutely hauls on the the dry lake beds and the Bonneville salt flats. So I know that he will be successful. Let's take a trip back to a few days past. Let's take a trip back to the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals. I was there, Chris was there, we were all there. It was, as I say, it was the first nostalgia event of the calendar year. Great to see all the classes out. Couple of some surprising winners, and some actually winners that you could have kind of guessed. The Nostalgia Superstock class was run by Nick Martin. The Gas Circus, Jason Pickett. There is a video on our YouTube page that Chris posted of that car in the semi-finals, I believe, pulling one of the hugest wheelies I've ever seen that car pull, which was great to see. And then the welcome return to Outlaw Anglia. The winner was Colin Miller. So the Flying Fifer multitasking throughout the year. I believe that the Flying Fifer is entered in at Door Slammers in the 760 heads-up class.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
I will confirm that.
Yeah, I have seen it in there, and I was surprised to see that in that little bracket, and I thought, wow, that's going to be interesting. Also, Colin is coming up on his Top Fuel competitive debut. I believe there are a few last things for him to sign off on his license for Top Fuel. I know that one big tick was made in his book at the Nostalgia Nationals. Managed to get a 4.4607 at 193.67. So that was in the time part of his licensing. Still needs to get the speed. So I believe that's 250. Some people will confirm that on me. But great to see him out, and that was great to see Colin. We're going to get him on the podcast soon and have a good old chat about how the Top Fuel came about and the fact that he's still going to compete in Outlaw Anglia, which is fantastic to see.
It is, definitely.
It is. Let's mention a couple of people from that event. Harley Coulsells, competing in Wild Bunch in his father's ball breaker slingshot, going faster than his father, which was an interesting concept in its own right. 163 miles an hour, that boy, and it looks like he's never left the track. I don't actually think he's competed in a car since he finished Junior Dragster. Great to see him back on track and not lost any of his touch. It was great to see the Oscars run out of the Nostalgia Nationals. That was their first major run out for this year. Brian Whitfield and Nick Davies. Nick Davies, I think that car will be absolutely brutal when it stops wiggling and shaking and decides that it really wants to go in a straight line. But his burnouts are exceptional. Yeah. Always good to see, and I believe that there is a video of that on our YouTube page as well. Hint, hint.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's look at Lee Bates. Lee Bates coming out in the Raptor Altered, took the first win in the Nostalgia Cannonball. Now, from what I've read on some notes that I was given at the weekend, the Nostalgia Cannonball, although it's a sort of like a yearly event, it will be at Dragstalgia and it will be another event as well, is being run as an individual event per meeting. So they don't carry points over it, so it's not a league. So if Lee won at the first round, it could be him and it could be someone completely different in the next round, so that they are complete standalone classes at these events. I believe the next event for them is Dragstalgia, and certainly he will come out swinging in that car. I know that Andrew Flavel was in the final with him, so I'm looking forward to seeing them meet up again on the track. The last mention goes to a gentleman I haven't, as I said, if you've seen some of my social media, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet, but I know the car he drives, and that belongs to Roy Walding, who I have met. And Roy is a true gentleman, very honest, very open, been racing all his life. Very clever man. I will put Roy Walding in the same bracket as Graham Sykes as sheer engineering excellence. Last year decided to stand down from Chariots of Fire and gave it to his crew chief to run, which I thought was an absolutely wonderful thing to do, to repay all his hard work and his kindness over the years. I know Roy has known Mark for a long, long time. And to see him finally get his first 6 in that car, and I mean, that thing was a 6.99 at 196 miles an hour, which is phenomenal. But then afterwards, we find out a day later that he had a bit of bad luck and unfortunately had a slight medical incident at the track, and as a result had to go to hospital. All the wills in the world to you, Mark. Get well soon. Come back racing soon. We'll, the track and Chariots of Fire, and I'm sure Roy will miss you driving that car. So just a posthumous mention to him.
Definitely.
So other things on the website, moving on.
Just before we move on, there was another surprise we had at Nostalgia Nationals.
Yes, our surprise guest, yes.
A surprise guest who we haven't seen for quite a while, which is former editor and owner of NSRA.com and a legend, Simon Groves.
Yes.
Made an appearance.
Look at that man, eh? He looked like he never left. And he even wore his hoodie. Well, not his hoodie, his sweatshirt. His Junior Dragster.
He had multiple layers on with Junior Dragster. He had T-shirts, jumpers.
Yeah,
jackets.
that was an absolute surprise, and that was an actually honour to see him. I mean, he looked so happy as I was typing. I was like, thanks for that one. But really good to see Simon back at the track. I know he's coming back for Dragstalgia. I believe he's going to be.
I believe he may be down for Saturday at the main event, but we'll see if we see him.
We'll see if we see him. It'll be nice to see him again.
He's always welcome. He's always welcome.
There is floating around somewhere, and if Claire Meadows listens to this, I'm going to ask her a big, big favour. She took a photograph of Colin, myself, and Simon in the tower. Chris was out somewhere in the pits at that time.
I think I was still travelling down.
Oh, right. Was it that early?
Yeah, you were all in the tower as I came up.
Right.
Just
okay.
afterwards.
Okay, so I know Claire has got this picture, and I must send her a message to say, can I have a copy of that picture? Because we need to post that. That'll be good to see. Moving on the website, thank you to Andy Rogers, also known as Tog, custodian and absolute legend of the Eurodragster.com site. Still working for us. Still can't give up the fact that he can't do. He's still working, still out taking pictures. Goes to Manston Park Raceway, goes to Melbourne quite a lot, and this time he went to Locked and Loaded 2, and his gallery is online now. So if you attended that event, I know I'm looking at a couple of pictures there now, and I know that Rob Carter was there. So if you want to go and see the action from there, just head to Eurodragster.com, scroll down on the news, and you'll see the link on Andy Tog Rogers covering day 2 of Manston Park Raceway, as he did day 1.
Yep.
I am going to move over and hand over to Chris now, because Chris will do his general bit of some birthdays on and around this day.
Yeah, and some coming up news I've received today.
Yep. Go for it, Chris.
Oh yeah, I'll take. So just going on to some news received. Centerpod media team has sent a bit of news in, which is beyond the website by the time this goes live, because obviously we're recording prior. There's £100,000 beckons Europeans fastest door cars to Centerpod's door slammers. That whole event is sponsored by Fuel Tech. There will be more information on our website. So there's a lot of money up for grabs on that event. So it'll be a good one to keep an eye on the live stream, or if you got tickets, you're going to be in for a treat. That's a good little build-up for the main event, which is the week after. I say there's more details will be on our website and the news. If you just go across and see that, some great pictures are sent over as well. Some racer information we received from Santa Pod Racers Club. The main event racer information, which will be live on the news. That will give you the opening times of the track, the scrutineering, and also there'll be the timetable, which is provisional running order for the 4 days. That'll be also on the events page, which will be updated in due course. Obviously, by the time this goes live, it will be updated. Moving on to some birthdays we've had this week. I'll just go back a couple of days. Let me just not help if I don't have the right page. This week we've had Lars Pettersson, which is the FIA Drag Racing Commission Chair. We've had former Gasser Circus John Gibson. Birthday, we've had a modified 100E racer Carl Reardon. And blown slingshot Andy Hill. Happy birthday for the other day for that one. Which we had here. Today, which is the 7th. I'm not going to give the date.
Yeah, I did see something that'll be quite. I'm just going to interject here. Rennie Erzman had her birthday on the 5th of May, and that actually might ring true because I think he was a competitor in a video that I watched yesterday. And that was his turn. He was 61 on the 5th. Yeah. So I watched a certain video from Hockenheim, and I remember somebody racing against him, which will become apparent later in this podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, on the 5th of May as well, there was Swedish 4th-time FIA Pro Stock champion Nicholas Anderson, and there was Dorslammer Racers Matt Stephenson. They had the birthdays early on in the week as well. Obviously, we've got birthdays to, I think we've already mentioned, to Haley from the Rebel team.
Haley, yes. I forgot all about. Yeah, I sent her birthday messages today because obviously that would be the 7th of May. That will be is her birthday. So happy birthday, Haley.
Yep. We've got Super Twin Beast team member and former Mantop Park administrator Lord Johnson. Happy birthday for you for that one. Coming up birthdays for Friday, we have Brian Gleadow, Gleadow, Gleadow.
Mr. Gleadow, yes.
Gleadow, yeah. Happy birthday to him. He's celebrating his 82nd birthday. That's a big achievement. And also we've got Danish electric quarter of a mile world record holder Hans Thomsen. So there's a couple of birthdays coming up this week on the Friday. Shall we go ahead to Saturday? Let's see who is unavailable. Oh yeah, we've got Sportsman ET racer and Pro ET racer Dan Holloway. And also we've got the Clueless Racing crew chief and scrutineer Clive McCready. Their birthday is coming up this weekend. Happy birthday to this weekend for Saturday to them both.
Yep.
That is, I'm not going to go too far on the birthdays.
No. We the problem is it'll sound a bit odd because when we record this and when it actually goes out and when people listen to it, they can be backdated and it could be like a fortnight ago when people's birthday was, and it might sound a bit strange, but we try to get everybody a good mention whose birthday it is, and it's always nice to see people out there out and about. Thank you for that, Chris. A couple of more things. There we go. Oh, hello. What was that? That was the dog, I think. There.
I muted it quickly, but yeah, my dog barked. Yeah.
They wanted to be in. Was it their birthday?
I think you just wanted to be in the podcast.
Well, absolutely. I can see why. I can see why. It's episode 10. You know, the dog wants to be in it.
Yeah. He just wanted to be in it, yeah.
One of the things I'll say what we'll do is before we do our interview, we'll just go through. We got one more thing here that we picked up on the 2nd of May. And I think that deserves a mention is thanks to Sean Kevin Bow from the Showtime Racing team. He sent us over his link from his video from the Festival of Power from the Showtime Racing team. Great video. If you ever wanted to see what it takes to race a top fuel funny car at an event, that's the video to watch. All the way from unloading the car to racing the car to fixing the car to doing everything in between. There aren't any chats with any of the team because they're so busy in the video, you know. But you'll see everything from pits to lanes to actual runs, and all with the welcome return of John Spofford back in the Showtime car. So great to see John back in that car after his let's say temporary hiatus from racing. But Sean Kevin Bow, the owner of Strip Clips, with that video, great to see. It's on YouTube. Just search Showtime Racing Team and you'll find that video. So if you ever wanted to see what was running in the background and on the track, that's the video to really get you into the UK scene with Nitro Funny Cars. So that being said, that's our news from the website. We've got some galleries that you can look at, some news that you can read. There are also classifieds going up and down all the time. What we're going to do now is I will hand you over to Graham Mark II and Chris Mark II as we bring you our milestone interview with a certain race team. Now, this certain race team have been running for 30 years, and it was a great chat we had. I'm speaking in the past tense because we did record this prior to putting bits and pieces together. Join us in a few moments with Mark Coulsells and the Limited Funz team, which was a great chat, great person to talk to, lots of history. Enjoy that, and we'll be back afterwards. Welcome back to the EuroDragster.com podcast. Oh, we got a bit of a reverb there. That's a nice one. We are now in the glorious presence of a racer. Well, two racers, three racers. I've got to remember that. There's three in this group chat, isn't there? There's three racers in this. Four? Who was the fourth? Sorry.
Ada.
Ada, and it's a family affair, is it, with the Coulsells?
Yes. Steve has driven as well.
Oh, good grief. Well, Steve does drive because I don't think he walks to Santa Pod somehow. That'd be quite interesting. I'm sure like the people like John Webster can, they could walk, but
yeah,
or just drive the race car down to the track. Well, we are in the glorious company of Limited Funz Racing. I got a little bit sneaky and I started making lots of notes when we agreed that we were going to do this. All graciously supplied by Mark himself when he wrote his own bio, I think.
No.
That's why it's legible. So we thought we needed the way we were doing this podcast is we were always going to speak to lots of different classes and lots of different people. And it's always great to talk to groups. We've spoken to White Label Motorsport. We've spoken to TCA and Hayden. I think that was quite entertaining, as you probably know.
Yes.
I did send a message to TCA yesterday, but unfortunately he's at work till 8 o'clock. So go figure, I didn't realise he worked for a living.
You got to pay for racing somehow.
Well, yeah, that is very true. But then again, when I see his YouTube videos, he only uses like half a litre of fuel, so he doesn't really have to pay that much for it, does he?
No. Well, the fuel that he uses, he has to pay a lot for.
Well, I assume he uses race fuel.
No, it's standard Tesco finest.
Oh, Tesco's finest. Oh, right, okay. So it's not from the Straits of Hormuz then. So
No.
So yeah, we're lovingly joined by a huge family affair of good friends, of family members, and we always wanted to speak to Mark because Mark is 1971 was a good year. I just had that in there. So we always wanted to have a chat with all the classes, and we're slowly beginning to get through them. Funnily enough, we have another call planned tomorrow with another race class tomorrow. So we've managed to get quite a few of the 760 Heads Up gang all together. So I have someone to thank for that. So we will be speaking to them tomorrow. So welcome to the chat, Mr. Mark Coulsells and family, and Mr. Steve Cassisi and family. So this is episode number 10, and this is the most people we've ever spoken to, Chris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So six is the new record. So you all have PBs when you race. So this is my PB, 6 people.
And you're actually getting 3 classes. You're getting Super Pro, Wild Bunch, Cassisi, Wild Bunch, and Junior Dragster. So it's 3 classes here.
Yeah, it is. We're covering all the classes at the moment. So please just introduce yourself, where you race, what you race, how you race, and how long you've been racing, because it's a good milestone this year.
Right, I'm Mark Coulsells. Been going to racetracks, Stanford, Blackpool, North Wheel, Long Marston, Shakespeare County Raceway sort of thing since 1973. And I've been drag racing my own vehicle, like racing since 1996. So this is my 30th year driving a race car. I've only had 2, and they've both been slingshots.
So the obvious question is, why slingshots?
Obviously, that was the era that I sort of started going. It was a transition between slingshots to rear engine cars. But basically, the first car that I got offered to buy as such, or drive, I first drove in 92, which the car is now Rathchild. The guy that owned it at the time, Steve Young, he's like my second dad. I've known him all my life. And he gave me the opportunity to drive in 92. So obviously my first car that I drove was a slingshot. And it sort of like stuck with me as such. And then at the end of 94, he was like, I'm selling up. And I got the opportunity. I had first offer. I brought pretty much everything apart from engine and gearbox. So yeah, that's one of the reasons, is that it was the first car that I ever drove, and
you like them.
I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're unique, if you know what I mean. A lot, because of the driving position and stuff like that. They're unique, and I love it. I can't get enough of it.
I don't think I've ever quite worked out the etiquette of slingshots, of actually sitting over the rear axle, or sitting on the diff. I've never quite worked that one out. I've seen. Yeah, I know. We have connections with John Wolfe, and he has a slingshot in his garage, and it's in parts at the moment. It's in a rolling chassis, but
Mr. Six. I remember it.
Yeah, and we looked at it, and I thought, oh no. And you see, Dave Nelson, the third part of the Euro Dragster team. Doris Dormouse is 90-ish% ready to come back.
All he wants to come back for is to do a flame burner.
Well, he loves to set himself on fire, but unfortunately, I think he's already been told that he can't do that. He loves his he loves his dad to set him on fire, which is a bizarre concept in its own right. But
yeah,
he's been, since his engine failure, he's always been hankering to come back. So Doris Dormouse is well on the way to being finished.
cool.
He's building a lot of he's obviously building a lot with his father, so he's been doing the engine, and he had a lot of parts with the help of John Wolf Racing. So he's coming back. So whether he runs 4 runs or sets himself on fire, we wait to see.
He might set himself on fire on one of the runs.
And I don't see, the thing is, Dave wouldn't mind. I don't think so.
No, I don't think you would.
I have pictures of him of doing flame burnouts, but I've not actually witnessed any of that. So that'll be.
We knew Dave when he raced in Wildbunch when we raced in Wildbunch years ago. So
Yeah, and it's good to see that it's not stopping people, and I think that's one of the big things I've seen with you is you've evolved as you've grown, and I say your family's evolved around the whole thing of limited funds, and I see that with Steve as well. I see everybody evolves around the succession of limited funds.
Yeah. I mean, it all stems back to my dad. He's been going. He was at the first meeting in '64. Was at the first meeting at Pod in '66, and then brought a car in '77. Never got to race it. Sold it in '81, and then got it back in 2014, and finally got to race it. Sort of like, I think it was 2016, 2017. So that I've been around it all my life, and then everyone else that you see on the screen, the top and the bottom, all because of me.
I get the funny feeling that I get
they can't get out now, they can't escape.
Well, that's it. I think they're pretty much trapped now, aren't they? I love the fact that you see, because I'll mention it again. I come from a speedway background, so it's a lot more two-wheeled racing in an oval. So you don't start and finish, and then you never see them again till the next round. They, every 4 laps, I'll see the same person on the motorbike. So I've been a licensed start marshal in speedway now for nearly 14 years.
Wow.
And the thing I watch is I watch people. I'm going to really embarrass Steve here now because I watch what he does. And it's really quite funny that he has this set routine that he does with you, and he does it with Ada, but he does one more thing with Ada that he doesn't do with Harley or you, Mark, and I'm so glad that he doesn't. And he knows what I'm talking about. He doesn't sort of like blow Harley a kiss and then point at the Christmas tree. So, which is about.
I can do if they want.
He has done it.
He has done it by accident. I witnessed him so much.
I'm not sure you've ever done it to Mark.
No, the problem is Dave Warren gets jealous, doesn't he, Steve?
Yes. Yeah, he asked me the one time after I blew Ada a kiss. He went, "Where's mine?"
Oh, okay. Fair. What's on the start line stays on the start line. Yeah. It's quite unique. I mean, I when I first started coming, I'm relatively a newbie to drag racing. I'm still quite raw. I mean, even though this is now my 3.5 years, I will be running. Well, not running, but working for Euro Dragster, and this will be our 3rd year of running it. Which was nice because my predecessor came and visited last weekend. So for the Nostalgia Nationals, so that was
nice surprise.
That was a very nice surprise.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
we didn't know he was turning up. We know he's coming to Dragstalgia because he always does, but it was a quite big surprise to see him. But I suppose I was introduced to Ball Breaker and Limited Funds through TCA, through his YouTube, and I was checking back. and I was just humming and hawing all through my notes, and I was like, I'm just gonna double check this. And I think the one thing that sticks in my mind, and I actually watched it again today because it absolutely makes me giggle just to watch it, is you going to Hockenheim.
Yeah. That was absolutely a brilliant adventure.
I almost knew that you were going to say that.
I seem to remember. Was there a peg on the toe?
A piranha.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know about until I saw the vlog, because obviously I was concentrating on driving.
Well, yes, with the snacks on the dashboard.
Yeah, that was rather painful.
And I'm going to actually I'm just going to sidetrack a minute to Harley. Now, I talked to Harley in passing, basically because he's on his way to do something else, and I did ask Tom something at the weekend when he was commentating. I said, "Can you ask Harley not to talk when the cars are going down the track? Because all I can see is lips moving and not a word he says, on the vlogs." And he was like, "Right, okay." And then obviously, I hearkened back to when Rob and Pete Brown came on, and they lovingly call you Egg.
They do.
And that's all that sticks in my head now. It's the most stupidest of things. But I just think, I don't call him Harley anymore, so there's Egg down there. But it's not my thing to say. And it's.
I don't even know where that came from.
I think it's because you were little.
I think so.
Egg.
So-
We had the Mara names, so Harley didn't have a Mara name, and they just called him Egg.
Yeah.
And Ada Mushroom.
And that tickled
they've
me.
always called me Mushroom whenever walking past. They're like, "Oh, you're right, Mushroom."
Ah.
A new one's been Grebo as well.
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, just because he blew Wrathchild up.
Yeah, he didn't do that much damage. It was actually less than that in the end.
Oh, right. He did say he cracked it, but I don't know if that is the case.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a cracked head in the end, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it did cry a little bit on the start line. I know that, but the black tears of sorrow on the start line.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is he sort of, I did watch him, and they obviously pushed it off, and then they connected it to the tow vest car and got ready. And then I saw him come back, and I said, I know exactly what he's doing. He's going straight back to the start line, and he's apologising. He's like, "I'm sorry, I made the track dirty."
To the line because I was crewing for Rebel, so he came on. He said, "I'm not going to get in the way. I'm just going to watch." So he didn't take over it.
I still can't tell those two apart. It's really annoying because
you should have seen him when we first met him 16 years ago, and they were a little bit younger. Boy Steve called them Maras because we couldn't tell them apart, and Robbie's Mara won because he came out first, and that's why Pete's Mara too because he was last one out.
Yeah.
If you go around, I'm Mara Senior, Lynn's Mara Boss.
He's
No,
He's an Egg.
then you got Stevie's Mara Chief, then you got Mushroom, then you got Mara Spanner.
Mara Spanner in a pair of knee-high boots that you sort of swapped with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it made me.
That one, Anna.
Tom did say, he said, "Who stole the orange one first?" Or, And
the orange ones are mine. The black ones are Anna's. And when when I was brave enough to do the bugging, we just decided one meeting it would be funny to swap them. And if we had £1 for everybody who asks us if we're the same size feet.
Exactly what they said on commentary.
And of course, we're the same size. Yeah. And Jeff did it at the weekend. If we weren't, we wouldn't have done it.
Well, no, that is true. That is very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did giggle because I said, "Oh look, they're wearing colour coordinated," and then I thought, "Oh no, it's on opposite feet, so they're obviously two pairs of boots." And then Tom did say, "Isn't it marvellous that they've got the same size feet?" The things that go out on live stream, Yeah. You wouldn't believe half the stuff because they do turn their microphones off every now and again, and I do.
It's a good job when Tom's in there, really, isn't it?
It is, but I get on so well with Tom because he's actually a wealth of knowledge beyond his age.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We could tell you a lot of awful things about him, but
Oh.
we'll just stick to.
I can. Do you know what? I can probably guess.
Maybe that's another episode.
Yeah. He has already asked me to do another episode with just him and Harley.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know what? I'll ask him. And that's what there was a thing that said I'll ask him when I see him. But I was going to get Tom to come on tonight as a bit of a surprise and then just create carnage because I know he can. All the time that we were chatting to him, I said, look, there is only one rule. You can talk about anything you want, but just don't swear. And he went, okay, that's no problem. We can do that. We can do that. And then when we finished and I stopped recording, he held up a big sign that he'd had in front of him all the time he was talking that says, do not swear. So, as you can guess, he finds it very difficult not to.
I've got him sat next to me, so if I go to do that, I'll get a jab.
I've got a big pin here.
So, if I suddenly see you jump and hit the ceiling, I know why. So, going from the lovely article that you provided us on the website, you said your first run was in 1992, and it says actually the 16th of June.
Yes.
1992, in the Dragster owned by Steve Young, who was a commentator at the time, was he not? Or was he a racer at the time?
He stopped commentating in the end of 1989. I think it was pretty much most of the 80s. I think it was from about 81 to 89 that he commentated because he raced in the 70s, then stopped. Funds, whatever, sort of thing, got into the, and Jackie, his wife, was in the timing, did the timing as well.
Yeah.
So they both worked on the tower for those sort of like 9-10 years. And then at the end of 89, he brought the car off of Jim Seaward, another racer, got back into it. We helped him rebuild it over the season, the winter of 89, beginning of 1990. And then he raced from 1990 to 94. And it was when it started off in modified ET, because there used to be modified ET and then Pro ET.
Mm-hmm.
But they were both small classes, and they amalgamated them to make, that's why Pro ET nowadays is so big, is that they amalgamated the indexes.
So moving to, I said, and your lovely lady even gave me the time. So it says 11:34 at 121.
Yep. I was told to do a half pass.
And you didn't, did you?
Got to half track and was like, F this is too good. And then when Steve and my dad got to the bottom end of the track to collect me, that Steve's first word was like, I thought it said half pass.
Yeah.
And I went, yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
I think there's a few Steves over the years that have said, I thought we said half pass.
And they can't see this because this is obviously audio, but Steve is nodding. It's a little bit of a catchphrase thing. So he says, he's nodding. But you were offered the car in 94.
Say again?
You were offered the car in 94.
Yeah, to the end of 94, Steve Young decided that he was going to step away from racing again. He's always dabbled in and out. He's always watching. He says he never does, but he always knows what's going on. Basically, the end of 94, he said he'd had enough. And it had at the time, it had a Rover V8 in it and a Powerglide he'd spent an absolute fortune on. And I didn't want to go down that route to make a Rover go fast. You've got to spend a fortune. So I brought the rolling chassis, a fully enclosed trailer, and loads of other bits, fuel jug, fire suit, and bits and pieces like that. And I paid the lovely sum of £1,200 for it.
Yeah, and that wouldn't even get you a wheel these days, would it?
I know. But tell me about it. By then, from 92 to 94, I'd already brought a bare chassis. I'd brought a rear axle. I'd brought loads of parts to build my own car.
Yeah.
And I then sold that to a guy who then started racing in Wild Bunch. and that money that I got for that brought my first engine and gearbox.
So would that be this the 305 cubic inch SPC engine?
Yeah, it was a 305 petrol on petrol and carburetor, and the 2-speed power glide. The case of it is still in ball breaker to this day.
Mm. You see, so there's a bit of heritage.
The internals were completely changed. So
yeah, but as I believe, moving on a bit, you have changed. So you've actually gone to a shifter now, haven't you? So
I have manually shifted for 29 years, but I want to be a little bit more competitive. So in my old age, looking at a rev counter to try and see when to shift, I've decided that some call it cheating. I don't know really. It's there's quite a few cars that run solid air shifters and electronic shifters. So it's join the bandwagon as such.
I call it moving with the times.
Well, yeah. But to be competitive, you have to, you have to move with the times. You can't. You can stay within your allotted class and run, But you moved into Super Pro, and nobody's going to hang around there, are they? So
no. I mean that's the thing. I raced with Wild Bunch for 26 years, and I fell out of love with racing. Like the MSA events, it was the same 3 cars, like me, the Maras, Phil James, and potentially Bob Hawkins, sort of thing. When he hadn't broken, and it got boring. And then when you go to the run with your bronze, like Nostalgia, Hot Rod Drags and Dragstalgia and stuff, there's loads of cars.
Yeah.
When you've spent years developing a car, Steve spent hours and hours of research with Anna and everything, like finding out to make the car go faster, and then you have to sit on the line for 4 seconds. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's potentially when you start doing damage to your car.
Yeah.
So it was like, and then plus the 2 kids, doing Junior Dragster, it was just so much easier to go into Super Pro. Yes, it's a hard class, but the last 2-3 years of racing, I've really enjoyed. It's hard, and then when you get that occasional round win, the buzz is amazing. Sort of, I've had a couple of races where I've had to really up my game, and I've treated people and stuff like that, and then one boy, Scott Hauser was one of them. Joe Collette.
Joe Collette. We thought we'd won the event.
We celebrated.
Yeah, but I mean, in Germany, in the semi-final, I raced against what's his name, Schneebly and Christian Schneebly and Bonnie Blue.
Yes.
And the win margin, I won, and the win margin was 0003.
You see, now we had a one at the weekend, which when Chris was with me at the weekend, we had one, and because given to us by Simon Groves was a little bit of a spreadsheet, and as long as you have all the times and the win margin and the speed, you can work out the distance.
Yeah.
So the one of the weekend it came down to 0.9 of an inch, the win margin.
Wow.
So that was, and I went and looked at it back on the live stream, and you couldn't tell them apart. But the good
in Germany, the thing in Germany as well, they haven't got the win light on the wall past the finish line like they have at Santa Pod.
Right.
We dialed 8:30 for ball breaker because the air was so bad out in Germany, so the car slowed down. So we were running 8:30, and he was like 790 something. And I was 034 on the tree, he was 036 on the tree, so I got him a little bit on the tree, and I didn't see him until we went past the bit. I didn't lift; it was just flat out. I can't remember. I think it was an 8:31 that the car ran. And then obviously he went flying past me in the shutdown. We got round to the end, and I got out of the car, and he jumped straight on his phone. And I walked down to him because he was a bit down from me, and he turned around and pointed at me and went, "Well done, you're into the final," sort of thing. Oh. Because other than that, I wouldn't have known until the crew come and got me.
Oh, That's awful, isn't it, really? To just have to sit there and wait for the tow vehicle to come up with your crew and say, oh, by the way, you won. And you're like, what?
Especially when there's a two-engine dragster on the start line, and apparently they got stopped by the marshals that I couldn't come through. So, like, no, I was down the bottom end for probably 15 minutes. It got once.
Oh,
You'd think you'd have got over this by now, wouldn't you? we didn't go and fetch Mark at Shakespeare County Raceway once because we were stopped by the marshals and told we couldn't go and fetch him until after this certain vehicle had run. So we had to obey and wait for this car to run. And Mark has not got over it. And how long ago, Steve?
Oh, I dread to think how long. It was a long time ago. 15 years, maybe more than that.
And we get accused of not going to fetch him and that we wait till bigger cars run. And it's not true. It's only if we're told not to go.
15 minutes of torture, isn't it? And 15 years and 15 years of servitude. So moving, so you first ran the car at Shake in '96.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was blue, yellow and blue is the original colours.
It was like a yellow colour with predominantly yellow with sort of like squares and pinstriping on it, with red, blue, all sorts of like stuff, and then it got painted blue and silver in 2000.
Yep, and that's when your PB went to 1038, 126.
Yep.
So I'm just going to say 126, Harley. Does that seem ever possible?
For a while, I'll be completely honest, it didn't. If I'm completely honest, it was one of those when I was in juniors. I didn't know if I was going to continue racing, whether I could afford it, whether Dad would definitely let me drive the car. There was parts of me that thought that wasn't possible. Obviously, it always was. I was never going to stop drag racing.
Yeah, but even in the red van. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but we'll have to see in years to come. I don't think anytime soon the van will do over 100. You're not in court mile.
Could you call it 100 kilometres an hour? You know that.
Its current best in the quarter is 59 mile an hour. So
now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Steve did the ball breaker, and he's done what did you run, Steve?
An 860, 157 mile an hour is my quickest.
Oh, so closer to the 163. I'm just going to keep hinting on that.
He was the fastest driver for about 3 years, wasn't it? Yeah. I hadn't gone as quick as 157.
It's fast.
Yeah, it was fast. Steve held the the speed record for about 3 years.
Yeah, we just couldn't get it to go any quicker, could we? It was just a fluke that day when I drove it.
No, see, it was the perfect.
It might have had something to do with that.
Yeah. It was the perfect weather, so you know.
Yeah.
So a rule change in 2004 meant that you had to do something else.
Yeah, so basically they brought the safety cell rule in 2004, which is obviously a good thing. So we had the car inspected by Jeff Martin and Mark Norton, and basically they were like, yeah, I don't think so. I had the mad thought of back half in the car to make it legal, but because it's got such history, I was like, what's the point? I didn't want to destroy the history. So we sort of played with it in 2005 and 2006. Steve was actually the last person to ever drive the car before we stripped it down at the end of 2006 and took it to Roy Wilding to have a duplicate chassis made that was legal.
Ah, yes. Because that's my level. As it says, at the end of 2004, the MSA changed the rules, and that became the car became non-regulation.
Yes.
And that's when Steve and Anna joined. And
yes.
It says became co-owners.
Yeah, well, Steve and Anna had already started coming racing and sort of like helping out and everything. And then, like I said, and then at the end of 2006, it was decided, or I was like, I don't mind the run what you brung, but I prefer the competition side of things. So I wanted a legal car.
Yep.
And obviously the money side of things, and also more, you can't do it on your own. So that's when we sat down with Steve and Anna and sort of came up with a plan.
I'm sure there was drink involved. I'm sure there was lots of drink involved.
Probably. It did.
So we sort of like came up with a plan, and the original plan was to take the chassis to Roy, get him to duplicate it in a MSA legal car, and literally take everything from the old one and transfer it to the new chassis.
Yep.
And 16 years later, the only thing that's from the old car is the front wheels, the rear wheels, and the gearbox case.
Yeah. But everything else is it's like Trigger's broom, is it? It's it's one of a kind.
It did start off with the rear axle that's now in Rathchild. It was in that car because I ran out of money. So we put the Sherpa axle in, which is not ideal behind the engine that we ran. Obviously, to start with, in 2010, it wasn't as quick as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But we still broke things.
So 2010, you debuted with Bullbreaker?
Yes, it Nostalgia Nationals. So last weekend was its 16th birthday.
It was with the methanol injected 383 cubic inch slingshot with the flying 8-ball. Yep. And I'm really disappointed in this next note that I've taken, and I was impressed to see Jess and Anna in the boots, but where were your orange and black camo trousers?
I very rarely wore them, obviously, because I was with the fire suit. It was Steve that used to wear them.
Have you still got them, Steve?
We've still got the old one.
Yeah, we've still got a pair. I keep them in the caravan just in case, for nostalgia's sake, and it was all Anna's fault, to be honest. It was a joke that went too far, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then stuck.
Again, another drunken night, probably.
Yeah. I think Dragstalgia, Steve. We'll drag them out at Dragstalgia.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's the ultimate retro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, I know, like Rob and Pete will look at that and they go, "Oh, you've still got them." They still fit, you know.
They've got them as well. Because when they crewed for us, they wore them as well.
Oh, brilliant! So the soft shells, the black and orange soft shells now are quite understated in comparison to what you used to have.
Yeah.
But you say it's always been as far as I know, it's always been the black and the orange.
Yes. So. Yeah. That. I mean, I do love the black and orange, but predominantly it's black and orange because of this one sat next to me, because she loves Zerbacker.
And he's black and orange.
Yeah.
There's no other reason for it.
Yeah. Now you see, I have to admit, he's my thing as well. He's my racing hero.
Oh, I wouldn't say he's my hero, but he's my thing.
Oh, when you said thing, I see. Okay, he's not my thing, you know.
You're keeping the secret there, Graham.
So,
he's gone.
Yeah. So Rob and Pete joined Limited Funz.
Yeah. So basically,
with the old chassis.
Say again.
With the old chassis.
Well, yeah. So basically, what happened is in 2005 we were at Shaky, and we've been asked to take the car to. We weren't racing because it was August Bank Holiday, so it was an MSA event. So we couldn't race, but we'd been asked to take the car for custom car, but like on a static display, with a couple of fire ups, and basically, I don't remember it that well, but basically at the end of one of the fire ups, Rob and Pete with their dad came up to us and asked about the car, and we're talking. Then they obviously knew that we lived down the road for them. And I let them sit in the car and put the fuel on and stuff like that. And then basically from there until main event 2010, every time we bumped into them at the track or even in town drunk whilst wearing an ABBA outfit. Asked how we were at a tribute act, and we were dressed up as ABBA. And then Rob and Pete were in a pub, and they come up and asked me how the car was coming together and everything. But every time they walked away, Lynn would go, "Who's that?" And I'd go, "Haven't got a clue." Because they came to me when we were at the racetrack, I didn't really remember them, but they kept coming up to me. And then at main event 2010, we were in the queue with Harley for Mel and Troxell's signature, and Rob and Pete were behind me. So we got chatting again and everything. And I was like, right, before we leave, give me your phone numbers because I can get in contact with you, because they kept asking about the car and everything. So when we got the car back home from my dad's, because my dad built the panel work, I called the boys, and literally within 2 seconds they were outside the house, sort of thing.
Because they lived 2 minutes from us,
Yeah.
but we didn't realise it.
We didn't realise how close it was. But yeah, and then after that, basically, they got involved. They helped out and stuff like that. And that's where Mara's come about, because Steve's rubbish with names. Yeah, he's nodding. See, he won't. Yeah.
I see. I couldn't work out where the Maras came from, and now I kind of know. But from my part of the world, a Mara is a big, giant vegetable. So
yeah, Steve, you have to elaborate on this one.
So I used to work in Derbyshire, engineering factory, and that some of the guys there from the Amber Valley were Aort Mara. So because Mark was from.
He's frozen.
He's frozen. Yeah, he waved his thumb. Oh, there we go. We've lost him again, but we'll pick him up in a minute.
Yeah.
So your first 8-second pass, was it shaky?
Yeah, shaky 2012.
Yeah, 2012, 895 at 156. So you're getting there. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yes, we were getting there.
Yeah, and then 2 years.
Probably a year ago, we were chasing numbers.
Yep. So 2 years later, Harley decided he wanted to get his feet wet. Or was that you, Harley, or was that you saying, "Do you want to do it?" and you said yes?
Very much. Do you want to do it? And I said yes. I was never forced to go to juniors, but there was definitely a you want to do this.
Hint, yeah.
I definitely didn't say no. So I had I turned 8.
Hey, there he is.
I turned 8 in October 2013, and at the end of October had my first go in a junior. Was utterly terrified to get in the car before I went down the track, and then the second I got out the car at the end, all I wanted to know was when I could go again, basically. So yeah, and unfortunately for Dad, that sort of meant he had to step down for a while because I wanted to race.
They say, "I'm sorry, you can't. Yeah, you can't race. I'm racing now. It's my turn."
Yeah,
and say when I'm still saying I'm a newbie, I come to it and I know ball breaker just from starting and running and things like that. But I was introduced to Junior Dragster with you, obviously with Bandit 1. So
yeah,
that's where I see that. I know Tom talks about his career in Junior Dragster. I was never around for that, so I have to take everything that he says as it's the gospel truth, and I'm sure it's quite made up. But I know him and yourself, Harley, have been absolute friends for donkey's years, and the way I see you two fire off against each other is just pure entertainment. So
yeah.
What do you got? I said Tom joined around the same time. I wonder why. We move on a bit. 2020, Ada joins a team with Cherry Bomb.
Yeah.
Was that a natural progression?
Oh yeah, definitely a natural progression. I've always wanted to do some sort of racing. I think when I was little, I more leant towards the bikes, though. I know, blasphemy. But my dad always used to take me out of the bike pits, and I'd always be like, "Oh, I want a bike." But I got Cherry Bomb. I think the first time I raced it, like Harley said, like extremely scared to get in it, but when I got out, I really liked it. But my parents always say that they've always had struggles with, like, when I was starting, getting me in the car, because I'd never want to sit in the car in the pairing lanes, and I still don't want to sit in the car and wait in the pairing lanes because I'm not a waiter.
I think that's a theme that runs through the family, to be honest. Trying to get any of the drivers strapped into the car is hard work.
I'm getting better. He is getting better. But old James Hunt here, he wasn't so good, was he?
No.
Is my junior ready? Step into it. Yeah. 2 seconds before he was called to the start line, Harley would get in his car.
Yeah.
So we did name him James Hunt.
That was the nickname.
So that was Cherry Bomb your original car?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I drove, to begin with, I drove a car that we rented from the Gibbs. It was Talia's old car. And then after a year, we decided to step up and get our own because one came up. That one was built by Bill Felstead. We got it 6 weeks before Easter 2015. And it wasn't an MSA legal car. And by Easter, we had it sorted. Several frustrating moments of chains popping off. And eventually, it turned into a quite consistent car. And that was the original Bandit 1 that then turned into Cherry Bomb that Ada drove for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite funny because I think Tom told me the original story that when you finally gave up Bandit 1 and it became Bandit Bomb, the story that Tom told me was that you couldn't bear to see the livery disappear.
I was trying my hardest to find another Race Tech carbon body for the car, simply because I love that paint job so much. And unfortunately, we just couldn't find one. We sort of made a compromise with a
slight decal change. Yeah,
that we could just change the name of the car, add a bit of the flair to the car for Ada, and it still kept the livery that it still has today.
I love the paint job as well. If I could have, like, in Cherry Bomb, obviously we just put a wraparound Bandit 1s thing, but if I would have had like an actual paint job on it, it would have been very similar to what Bandit Bomb is now, like with the flames all at the sides and things like that, because I do genuinely love that type of thing.
I love the way that the junior dragsters all just seem to migrate through the drivers. You know, that you say, well, whose car was that? Well, that was such and such's, but then such and such before that had it, and then they had it, and then they had it. And, you know, and it's I think it's very rare to see a new car.
Yeah, especially in the UK. Tom is definitely the best person for that. You can ask him where a car came from, and he'll be able to tell you right back to when the car was first ever seen. There's only a couple that I've asked him about, and I'm not just talking juniors, I'm talking any car. There's only a few that I've asked him about that he can't tell you where it came from or who had it beforehand.
Is that because he's a nerd, though?
Absolutely.
I would pretty much put him in that category, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get there, and I'm not trying to be nerdy, but I'm trying to get there, and I'm trying to learn who they are and where they are. But I always say that I only ever see people's eyes, you know, because they're always wearing a helmet. And it's the same with Robin. It's the same with Robin P.
I had this conversation with Tom K on the bank a while ago. We were sat on the bank watching Pro Mod, waiting for Pro ET to be called because he had to go. And 2 cars fired up. We hadn't seen them yet. 2 cars fired up around the corner, and just on the sound alone, I told him who it was. And
that's dangerous territory.
He said, not that wasn't correct. All I've done is heard the cars, and they came around, and sure enough, it was 2 people I'd said.
Yeah, that's dangerous territory. You're hanging around Tom far too much.
It's like Lynn, though, when she's in the tow car and she's already driven round and parked by the track, she she knows when we find ball.
Yeah, Ball Breaker's got a very, very distinctive engine sound.
Mm-hmm.
Not like any other car I've bought in it.
I would.
I
Yeah,
do that as well.
What you've done to it, Steve, I don't know, but you've given it a little tickle and you've given it its own little sound.
It's got to be there.
it's like I said about the little ticks that Steve has on the start line. It's the bit in the pits as well. He always puts the cap of the fuel bottle in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always puts that in his teeth, and then he obviously gives it enough fuel down the bug catcher just to get it running. On goes the little cap. That goes in the little trolley. Harley usually pulls out the Anderson plug, and away you go. But it's a system that's been working for God knows how long, and there's no point in changing it.
Yeah.
Until Harley was big enough to
to jump in if he's not doing something else or whatever. But it's usually Anna that's the plug puller.
Yeah. And the fuel bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so let's have a look at my little list. So Ada joins in 2020, but then in 2022 you left the Wild Bunch and decided to shift to Super Pro.
So we only in 22 we only actually did the last 3 events: Euro finals in Super Pro, Hot Rod Drag Wild Bunch, and National Finals Wild Bunch, because we were waiting for some parts, but the main reason was slicks. We couldn't get slicks. We tried everybody, Hoosier UK. In the end, we actually got them through Motorsport, because they have a department in America. And because at the time, Hoosier weren't shipping to the UK for whatever reason, after COVID, whatever. And the size that we used to run a 32-inch tyre, and they could not give us a manufacturing date. So we decided to go to a 33 tyre, which has helped us with our speed at the top end, because it's a bigger tyre, so it's like another gear. So we only did the 3 events, but basically, like I said, because of the 2 kids racing in juniors, we'd have to come home from an MSA event, unload 2 juniors, pretty much unload the whole trailer, reload it just with Ball Breaker to go to a Wild Bunch event and everything. And it was just so time consuming and money. It just made sense just to leave and race in Super Pro. So it was the 6 events a year, and it was all 3 cars.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. And then, so was it pretty much close to 22 that Ball Breaker had a bit of a facelift?
Yes, at the end of 22. So it was painted in 2010. So it was, it was starting to look tired. So again, a one drunken evening. Me, Steve, Anna, and Lynn were sat in our conservatory discussing paint jobs, and we got a pen and paper, and we looked on the internet for like liveries that old school liveries. Came up with some ideas, sent them to Pete Waters, and then when we got it back, the rendering that Pete had done for Ball Breaker, Lynn's like, that's nothing like what we painted, what we asked him for. So we got the pictures out, and sure enough, it was exactly what we asked.
But there was a bit of a lost in translation, shall we say?
Yeah. The only change we made is when Pete originally did it, all of the 8 balls were numerical, and I said I want it as though someone's literally tipped a bucket of 8 balls out, and they've rolled across the floor so they're all over the place, sort of thing, which looks amazing, but Rich Waters wasn't so pleased.
Oh dear.
Me and Steve went down to collect the panel work. He said he'd seen 8 balls for days.
So it comes out, and I harken back to this YouTube video of you going to Hockenheim, because it won Best Appearing Car. So was that on that trip?
Yes, yeah. So basically, we got to the final, and then so we knew we got a runner-up trophy, but we were sat there and they were doing all of the presentations and everything, and it came up about Best Appearing Car, and they called us out, and we were just dumbfounded. And then to top it off, at the end of 23, obviously the SBRC awards at the beginning of 24, we got entered for best appearing car, and there was like 12 cars, and I'm like, no, we ain't got a chance, sort of thing.
So
and then
absolutely lovely
now these rabble here, the rest of this rabble that you can see apart from me, came up with a plan. Steve got a phone call from me and Marshall.
Oh, right. He sabotaged it, did he? Ah, dear.
Yes. So yeah, I got a call from Ian Marshall basically to say, "Are you guys planning to come to the SPRC? Do?" I was like, "We're umming and ahhing about it." He says, "Because you really need to get Mark there without him knowing."
So we're telling you, but not telling you.
Yeah. So obviously we that was a bit of logistics then to try and sort things out to get Mark there without him knowing.
Oh, I see.
So that we definitely were there for him to receive the award as well. So that on the back of Hockenheim as well, it was just it was amazing for the team.
If I remember rightly, wasn't it Hockenheim where you parked at the fuel station? You drove it to the filling to a gas station.
Pretty much. There's a story about that. Basically, there's
but you don't tell them too much of the story. That's off air.
Oh, okay.
I won't say anything.
That was on the cutting room floor, shall we say?
Yeah, we were pitted right next to that fuel station, so we had spotted it all the way through and said, "Yeah, let's do a bit of a joke where we pull the car up and look like we're putting pump gas into that baby." Yeah.
So, Harley's come to the end of his Junior Dragster stint.
Yep.
And it was just a natural progression to hand the car over?
Not hand the car over.
No. It was investment, shall we say?
It wasn't a given as such. It was always there if he, an opportunity that if he wanted to have a go, Steve was happy, Anna was happy for him to have a go in the car. And then, for ages, he was like, no, don't want to do it because he's seen 16 years of it going
sideways, doing what it wants. I think for me, obviously, since I was 16 and could have driven the car, I've been told, when you want to, it's just when I'm ready sort of thing. But for me, at the time, especially around when I was 16, I'd just got a brand new Junior in what is now Bandit Bomb, and I wanted to drive that till I was 18. I didn't really want to spoil myself and drive something else. And then after that, it was just simply me going, I'm not ready to drive the car yet. That lasted up until the middle of last year when Tom and Dougie Hill called me out on that and basically said, we think you're ready to drive that now. So I did.
Oh.
And, Tom doesn't like the fact that I'm faster than him now. It's sort of his fault.
Well, yeah, I would be the same. And you say, well, he needs to. Don't complain about it. Just get better. That's all you have to say.
Exactly that.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. But Ada's still. You're still going through the motions of Junior Dragster. So
yeah,
you're. Yeah, how much longer have you got left in the class then?
4 years.
4 years?
Is that right?
Yeah, 4 more years.
Yeah, 4 more years.
4 years.
Oh, that's scary.
So, are you classed as JMA now?
Yeah, I'm JMA now.
Yeah.
Obviously because I'm in what used to be Harley's JMA as well.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I drove the car, you didn't expect me to go full out the whole way down. It was at York, a straight liners event, the first time I drove the car. Everybody was going, you can lift, you're allowed to lift, and things like that. And none of them expected me to just go flat out all the way down. And of course, I went flat out all the way down. I don't do things halfway.
No womping, yes. It's so lovely.
Yeah, no. There's a photo of me being towed back from it with my hands in the air. Really
she had a massive smile on her face when I got down to pick her up. She was absolutely buzzing, weren't you, Ada?
absolutely buzzing. Hands were shaking. Loved it.
You did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first time I'd seen that car go down the track, really watching it without me driving it. Apart from obviously when
Apprehensive?
I've seen Sky drive it previously.
Apprehensive? Was it negative? Was it nervous to watch somebody else driving your car?
Yes. Very much so.
See, that's weird, isn't it? Because I don't get. Obviously, I've watched Harley and Ada both race from the age of 8, and then Harley drive ball breaker, and I don't know. I've got full faith in both of them.
Hey, now there's a father for you, Harley. You know,
I don't get nervous at all. I know that I'm sure. You know, I mean, Harley's now proven that he's got the driving ability. That if it steps out on him or it gets crossed up or whatever, he's sensible enough to get out of it and not say gun ho and crash sort of thing. So, and I'm pretty much certain that it's the same. You know, they've both been brought up around it since they were born, and they both raced since they were 8. They both had cars since they were 5. So, you know, which they've both still got. But yeah, I've got full faith in them. I'm never nervous as such. I'm probably more nervous for me driving it. Because I go through so many scenarios in my head. But when Harley's driving ball breaker, I'm glad he says he's nervous, which I'm glad because if you're cocky about it, then you're dangerous.
Yeah, I get that.
As long as you've got nerves, I think you're in full control.
With fear.
That when Ada drove the car, I wasn't nervous because I didn't trust her. I knew for a fact that she could drive that car. I was more nervous myself because I've never seen the car go down the track without me in it before.
It's a common reaction, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But fear is a thing that gives you limits, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to respect things more by fearing them, and I think it will prepare you for if, as you say, it bites you in the bum. And I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect run every time, but if you can react to every single nuance that car has, you're going to master it no matter what.
Yeah.
And
again, slingshots are a sort of a beast of their own. You know, most rear engine cars got long wheelbase and they pretty much go down the track every time sort of thing. Whereas a slingshot, like a funny car, and an Allward, short wheelbase, they very rarely go straight, if you know what I mean. There's no such thing as a perfect run.
Yeah.
I always say I've got 14 foot, so from the centre line to the wall is 14 foot. It's out of the pod, and as long as I don't cross the centre line or hit the wall, it was a straight pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
My definition of a straight run's slightly different.
Yeah, mine too.
I think I cut my teeth. I just went straight to the top, and I did a bit of work with Kev Kent. So I went all straight out into nitro. So and it giggles me now because Tom sits up in the tower when he's commentating with Colin, and they go, "Oh, lovely smell of nitro," and Tom nearly starts crying instantly. He's still affected by nitro, and I would have thought that he would have been more used to it than I am. And now I just sit there and it doesn't bother me. I don't choke up. I don't cry. There's a video that I did for Kev Kent with me sitting in the background eating my breakfast while the car's warming up. And, I was eating a full English while there was nitro fog everywhere. So more stupidity than actual bravado, but I see it from that point of view, and I went to the big hitters, and they all tell me that you thought that Top Fuel dragsters were it, but funny cars will always have a soft place in my heart as well. Because
if I had the opportunity to drive nitro, it would either be a fuel Allward or a funny car. Top Fuel. They say the Top Fuel dragsters are the king of the sport, whatever, but
No,
Dead
it's a lot harder to drive a funny car than
it goes in a straight line, pretty much.
the balance is all wrong, isn't it? The balance is all wrong in the car. So, and and if it blows up, it's going in your face. If it blows up in a top fuel dragster, it's going in the track. So, and that's the problem I see with ball breaker. If it goes catastrophically wrong, you're going to be the first to see it.
Yeah, but then I know something's wrong. I can pull the fire off and switch it off.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's behind you, you don't know it's blown up until you get out of the car at the other.
Yeah, or you feel it. And I know Clay Milliken says he felt it in the back of his head one day when it went pop. Because that's
the acceleration. That's with them where they're pulling so many Gs.
Yeah,
I think when the clutching fully engages 2.8 seconds into the run, they're at like 7G.
Yeah,
and you think if that goes bang, the de-acceleration is phenomenal like that.
Yeah, when you look at his videos and he's in the seat, and then all of a sudden he's pretty much out of the seat, and you can understand why they're pretty much
You've
tethered.
seen that one with Cruz Petragon in the funny car. He's done the run. It hadn't blown up. He'd done the run, and he's lifted his hand up to pull parachutes. And on doing so, it was an old, like there's two style of belts. You get a latch style and a cam. And he had the latch style. And as he went up, his arm restraints undid the belts.
Oh.
Pulled the chutes, and he nearly went through the windscreen of the funny car.
I can imagine that. Yeah, I can really picture that in my head. Because, as I say, the decel, they often say that the decel is worse than the acceleration. So, and I get that, and I'm never going to fully understand it because I've never been in one, and I have no real necessity to one. And people have told me, "Would you do it?" And I've done a lot of oval racing, and I'm okay with that. And being smacked by a banger was okay, but wasn't comfortable, so I gave that up pretty soon as I started.
You'd probably get hurt more in a banger car than you would in a dragster.
Well, absolutely, yeah, it's absolutely. But there is only one car that I will gladly drive down Santa Pod, and I'll never get the chance to do it. But I want to drive a Pro Stock. I really do.
Who? Pro Stock.
Because of no power adders. It's just pure engine, and that's what I think. And that's in its rawest form. So,
ball breaker is classed as NA. It's methanol injected, but because it's mechanical,
completely naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
There's no power adder.
Yeah, but then the engine's in.
Pro engines in front of you.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a bit of protection in there somewhere. Not a flying.
If I had the chance, I'd drive Pro Mod.
Yeah. We were talking about that the weekend. We were talking when Colin actually said it out on the live stream that we were gassing about what we would own and what we would run, and both Colin and Tom said that they would want to do Pro Mod.
Yeah. I think Pro Mod is such a diverse class. It's not like America where they're all Camaros, or as Tom TCA says it, Camaro.
So,
but for me, Pro Mod. I don't know, Lynn, what would you drive if you had?
I've never driven anything. I don't want to drive anything.
Harley.
Drive anything given the opportunity.
If anybody comes to you and says we want to drive this, you wouldn't say no.
Pretty much no. As long as it had four wheels. I'm not.
You're not a bike fan.
I couldn't be on a bike,
no.
But pretty much as long as I thought I could physically do it, so I'd give anything a go.
But see, I won't ride a speedway bike either. And I say I've been around it pretty much most of my career, but I won't drive a speedway bike because 500cc methanol single cylinders with no brakes just doesn't appeal to me.
And you say that drag races are mad, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The only way you're stopping on a speedway bike is you put your foot down. That's all you do. Yeah. You stick your foot in the dirt and hope for the best.
It's one thing I've never actually. I've seen it on telly. I've never watched it live. I would love to go to a speedway.
Stinks, absolutely stinks. Stinks of methanol and castor oil.
I bet that's an awesome smell.
Yeah, and it's loud. It's the only sport where you have to go fast, otherwise you fall off. So. If you slow down, you fall off.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I've been around it for a lot, probably as much as you have in your drag racing. But go on then, Steve. What would you, given the opportunity?
Fuel altered.
Fuel altered.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Havoc would really. Yeah.
Havoc. Nick Davis, if you're listening.
Yeah. Havoc would interest me. If he said, drive this, I'm bringing it out of retirement. And I felt confident I would definitely do that. I really would. But no quarter scares the living daylights out of me at the moment because that thing does not want to go straight.
It's because it's a bloody short and it's got loads of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It I mean, like Taste of Evil was nice. Foolish Behaviour was nice. I really like those. I'm a great lover of the red car. It sounds a strange thing to like something because it's a certain colour, but they're just mint. They're just absolutely mint. But go on then, Ada. Your turn, Ada.
So I'm like Harley. I'd race anything if I got the chance to. But like opposing to Harley, I love bikes. I really, really want a bike. And my boyfriend's a biker, and he's gone, do you want to ride my bike a few times? And I've gone, if I could, I would, but I don't have the leathers and things like that.
I think a previous guest, Declan Butt, is an absolute testament to what Junior drag bike has done for him. Because the first meeting you go from a 400cc bike to a 1000cc bike, and you win.
Yeah, Declan. He's done really well.
That is just my hats off to him, and he's still only 16.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
What would you?
Go on then, Anna.
I'd like a gasser.
You'd like a gasser.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm off.
Nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. I do have a bit of a soft spot for short fuse. I like the vans, but
which one though, Anna? Which one would you have?
I like honky tonking, and I like green onions.
Oh yeah. So green onions is with the green windows. Yeah.
Back to back.
Yes.
Yes.
1 point.
Yeah, that's
not bad the back.
That's Neve, isn't it? Neve Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the bigger and the most ridiculous.
Steve Matthews.
shape.
Yeah, Steve Matthews in Honky Tonkin'. I mean, that thing was reaching for the stars at the weekend.
Yeah.
And that's just synonymous. I mean, look at Cherry Bomb and Jason Pickett. I mean, that thing's absolutely monumental. And you say, it's what it is, isn't it? I mean, drag racing is a very diverse, very inclusive sport. So anybody can race anybody. It doesn't have to be all male or all female. It's just you're just a racer, and that's what I love about it. Yeah. It's fully inclusive.
That helmet on. I mean, they all say about the drag racing family. We all help each other out and everything. And and until you're either strapped in that car or you put that helmet on, you're friends. The only time you're not is basically once you go up to that tree.
Once it goes green, you hate each other.
If you see green, you've lost.
That was always
that's my problem. I see too much green.
That was always the question. That was always the question. It reminds me of a driving test that somebody said, and he goes, "What comes after the yellow light? Traffic lights or the amber light?" And he said, "I don't know. I've never stayed there long enough." But then that'd be a red.
I've never done that. I've never watched the traffic lights and go on amber. Honestly, I always wait for the green, safe to move.
Here's the funny thing. Who was it? Was it Rob Smallworth? I don't know. It was one of the lower Chevy cars, and he used to have a metal enclosure over his hood, and he came to one of the meetings probably last year with a Perspex one because Spencer Tram or Tom Atkinson had made him one. And they said, why have you suddenly gone to this clear Perspex sort of like intake? And he said, well, I couldn't see the tree when I was in the left lane. And he went, well, how did you know when it was green then? He went, I just guessed.
Yeah.
But I suppose you get used to it. Yeah. You just go.
Yeah.
But
That's you'll find a lot of people that are like that. They can't see. That's why they're in the heads up class, because when the other car moves, you move.
If you've seen them go first, then you've lost.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And if you're not first, what are you? You're last.
Yeah, last. Yeah.
Especially in drag racing when Zan serve you.
It's switched on for another cup of tea.
Yeah. Strange. Lovely. Well, I'm going to wrap it up now, but thank you very much for joining us. I wish we had lots more time to chat. Perhaps we'll do this a bit later when you've been in it for like 60 years.
Well, when I'm going to step aside and let Harley drive, and I've said until I physically can't get in the car, ill health or whatever, then I'll still be driving the car.
Yeah. Do you think it's fair that you couldn't physically get out of the car? It's more.
I get out of the car when it's still moving.
You don't hang around. But no.
I've done that quite a few times. I get told off by Angie quite a few times where if the car's engines died in the top end in the shutdown, my belts are already unclicked, and then as soon as I'm starting to get to the corner, I'm trying to get out of the car so I don't hold the racing up. I mean, I did it last year. The car died in the burnout. We had an issue with the car, and I did the burnout, and it stopped. And I knew it wouldn't refire, so I just clicked the belts. And before any, like Steve or TCA or Santa Pod Marshals could get to me, I was out of the car in my full kit, pushing the car back because I knew that there was a car in the other lane and didn't want to hold it up.
But then that's the professional racer in you, so.
But like I said,
or the gentleman, you know.
Yeah.
No, the racer.
But as I say, thank you for joining us. As I say, I wish we had a lot more time to chat. 30 years is a hell of a milestone. I'm sure Harley is getting to get close to that very, very soon.
I couldn't do it without all of these people that are in the five of them.
And you see, this is the one thing. This is the one thing where I see Ball Breaker, I don't just see you. I see everyone.
Yeah.
I see a crew chief pulling you in. I see a lady behind you backing you up. I see someone sitting in the tow vehicle. I see Harley he's either in Nitro FM or he's doing something.
He's in the bike bits.
Yeah. Waiting for you to go across the line and then shaking your head because something didn't go quite right.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. And I don't look at Mark Coulsells as the driver of Ball Breaker. I look at you all as one thing. And
that's one thing.
That's really nice that you say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you say about winning best appearing car in Germany and SPRC, and Ian phoned up and said you need to get Mark there, like without him knowing, which was nice. But for me, it's not me. I couldn't do it without all of them. We are a team.
Yeah.
And it should be best appearing car is limited funds, because it's not. I get the best part, in my opinion. I get to drive it. Steve loves tuning it. We've all got our part in the team. But
one doesn't work without the other, I fear sometimes. So
definitely.
Yeah,
it's when you get if you win an event or come runner up, potentially it is the driver that's got the car there. But again, without Steve maintaining it, doing the checks between rounds and stuff like that, and putting the parachute pin back in at the end of a run so we don't put it out when we're towing the car back. There's everything, everyone does their little bit.
Yeah, and it can't. Yeah, and I get that, and I really do, and I think that's it. However you look at it, and whatever team you look at, it's always the same. They're all within their little bubble within that, but I think that bubble is beyond teams as well, because as you say, everybody helps each other. They all muck in. They all have a laugh. They all have a joke. They do rib you, I'm sure. And take the mickey quite a lot. But I also like the fact that you've done colour commentary, as it says on your CV.
Yeah.
And
The direct Darryl asked Darryl Bradford asked me to go up and commentate over Wild Bunch.
Harley and TCA did colour commentary for Wild Bunch once upon a time.
I think it was 2017.
Yeah.
wow,
And
wow.
That's worth digging out.
I was on the start one with racing my dad.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah,
that's quite funny because he's never been asked back, has he? So. So.
He talks on Nitro FM now.
Well, yeah. And he plays a lot of rock music, so
I do.
you do that. You're the rock show of Nitro FM.
What is it?
Oh, God.
The Rock Show with Harley Coulsells, only on Nitro FM at Centre Pod Raceway.
Oh, is that your jingle? Is it? Oh, right. Okay.
I need to make it into a jingle.
Well, say have a good evening. Go and eat some food, probably, because you're all starving.
Yeah.
You're all hangry. You're all hangry now because I've talked far too much. It will be a pleasure to see you back at the track. Wave. I will wave at you when I'm in the tower. You probably can't see me when I'm in the tower now because I've got too many screens that are hiding me. But
when I'm waiting to go in the stage before I go in the stage. At main event, if you look down at the car when I'm in the lane, I will put my hand up and wave at you.
Oh, what a gentleman. Oh, you see. Melts my heart.
Of course, you ask Steve nicely and blow you a kiss.
Oh, Steve. You reset that taco and he'll blow a kiss and then he points at the Christmas tree and walks away and thinks, oh dear, what did I do? But enjoy your evenings. Have some fun. See you at the track as soon as.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll see you at the track. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. So, welcome back after that interview. It was quite funny because Mark said to me, he said, how long? I don't think I can talk for an hour. And then it ended up being an hour and 20 minutes. So, he certainly could talk for an hour.
Yeah, he could.
He could, and it was a great. It was a great interview. It was great to talk to Mark and his family, to Harley, to Mark's wife, to Steve Cassisi, to Anna Cassisi, and Ada. We had a good chat. We had a good guessing game of what would you like to drive. That was. I'm going to throw that one in there every now and again just to see if to see what comes up. Thank you to them for joining us for episode 10. We have got another interview coming up in the next event, which should come out just before Door Slammers, which will actually work in Door Slammers' favour because it is one of the race classes that is taking part in the event at Santa Pod. With that being said, our last few moments of this podcast for episode 10 is what's coming soon. Obviously, as we've mentioned quite a few times, the next event at Santa Pod is Door Slammers, one of the great events that everybody looks forward to coming to racing at because obviously money is on the line. Slightly different, quite a few different classes, but great fun. I like it. It's amazing. We don't run ladders. Well, we do. We run ladders, but we run ladders on chip draws, which is always fun to see who draws who. The same weekend, obviously, Jeff Stilwell is running in El Mirage. That's on the 16th and 17th of May. Funnily enough, on the same weekend, which seems to be a busy weekend across the globe, the 29th European Dragster meeting in Clasters in France. That's running. Later in the month, the Scania Flat 4 Spring Shootout at Malmö Raceway in Sweden. That's on the 22nd to the 24th of May. Also that weekend, the FIME main event at Santa Pod is running the 22nd to the 25th. And included in that will be the first ever round of the Carl Cox Motorsport competition. I believe Chris has educated me on that because I thought it was all being run on the test day, but apparently it's being run over 2 days. So
the test day and the Friday, which is the first day of the main event.
Which is great to see because I thought I was going to miss that because I never really get time off work to go and see the cars on test day. But I will be there from very early on the Friday morning, so I will get to see that. One of the things that I've got lined up sometime in the next month is we'll be talking to JC Grant, because he wanted to come on after the Door Slammers event and possibly the Carl Cox event to give us a bit of a show report, let us how things are going with him. That would be great to catch up with him sometime. We've got a few other names floating around. I've got Alan Kenyon with the front wheel drive class with the Hocus Pocus Focus. Yep. So we've got that box ticked.
Just going back to the events. Obviously, this weekend we've got Melbourne, which is the Melbourne Mayhem.
Yes. I do apologise, Melbourne. I skipped your weekend.
Yeah, which I am missing that weekend because I've got car issues, so I won't be there.
Yep.
And we've also sit on the Sunday at Santa Pod. We've got Jap show.
Yeah, our Jap show's on. Yes. Yep. I was going to.
Same weekend. Yeah. The same weekend for Door Slammers, it's also VW Breakout as well.
Yes, it's one of these lifestyle events that sort of splits the area, doesn't it? So you have half and half. So the Door Slammer event has a tendency to run in the pits and the track, and then VW Breakout hits the campsites and all of that sort of side of the track. So
it is,
that's always good fun to see all those things going on. That always makes for a very busy weekend, which I know I am going to be flat out. This is going to be flat out. This is a very busy few weeks for me towards the end of May. Thank you very much. I volunteered. I shouldn't really complain. I volunteered to do it.
Which I appreciate you doing.
Yeah, and I have to admit, it took me a little bit of a swing in Festival Power, a little bit of time just to get back into the swing of it. But we're there now, and we're working, and we're cooking on gas. So
you're managing fine with your new setup you've got.
Absolutely, managing much better. Streamlined it a little bit. Still got a bit of work to do for Door Slammers because they run a different screen. So I will have to do a slight bit of jiggery pokery at the track. But that's by the by. If you see us passing, give us a wave. If you see us looking at you from the tower, give us a wave. And once again, join us on the EuroDragster.com podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, whether it be Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, or even on our own website with our dedicated player on our page. Thank you for joining us.
Just one thing before we close off, Graham. If you haven't got a Euro Dragster sticker on your car or on your daily car, drop into the signing office, or if you see anyone around the pits from Euro Dragster, just ask them for a decal or sticker, and we can give you different sizes.
That's a good point. We have two sizes of EuroDragster.com stickers. Yep. We have copious amounts of stickers, and I'm sure that the signing in office still have copious amounts of stickers.
Yeah. And it's even at Melbourne. I've got if you're at Melbourne Raceway and you want a sticker for your car, they have got a big bunch in the office, in the signing office. If you just go and ask them for a Euro Dragster sticker, they will dig it out from the bottom of the cupboard.
That will be good to see people supporting us as much as we support them. It will be great to see. And as I say, good.
And I will try to get some down to Paul at Manston Park, some stickers for them as well. I'll pass them on to Tog to take down. So.
Keep coming back. We are working on merchandise. We are trying to get some bits and pieces together. It's not proving difficult. It's just time consuming to get things sorted out. So we know that some people have inquired a past event about whether we will be doing them or not. Yes, we will be doing them. And as soon as we get it all together and we can put it on the website, we certainly will. And I'll jump again and say thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for episode 10. Join us for episode 11 towards the start of the Door Slammers event. We will have a good chat with some people that we've got lined up. Have a good evening. Enjoy this weekend at Melbourne and Jap Show, and have a good evening.
Yep. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and good night.
Good night.
That was the Euro Dragster podcast. For drag racing news, reports, galleries and classifieds, visit eurodragster.com. Join Graham and Chris next time for more from the world of drag racing.